Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Good evening, everyone, for the Fitchburg Common Council meeting for September 9, 2025. The first thing is to call to the order. Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The United States of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Next is roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Radafrada.
Here.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Here.
Alder Gerhardt.
Here.
Alder Herbst.
Here.
Alder Jetzer.
Here.
Alder Lattice.
Here.
Alder Maldonado.
Here.
Alder Reichstad.
Here.
Alder Bafadari. Here. You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So next we move to item 4 for public appearances and non-agenda items and new appointments. We have a couple of recognition, a mayoral proclamation, and some mayoral appointments. But first, we have for non-agenda item, we have 3 members in the audience that they want to speak. And I will call Andrew Lager, Beverly Craig, and Diane Craig. I don't know where are, so if you can come to the microphone and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor and Alders. I'm here just to talk briefly about a possible proposed amendment to the Greenfield Plan. Brad Sipple, on behalf of Deanna, the city planner, if everyone knows Brad Sipple, he kindly came to Greenfield, our neighborhood, and took a look at our rear site areas. And he stayed there an hour. He really enjoyed it. He was amazed at what he saw, being there in person and seeing what we're talking about. Part of the Greenfield Plan was addressing the fact that preserving the character of the original neighborhood, that was the number 2 item of beyond high densities. So Brad took some time to look at that. Thank you, Mr. Breckland, for some time on Friday talking with me about some things. Ms. Gerhardt, I'd like to talk with you about a possible amendment. It's very simple. And Ms. Mayor, about that amendment as well for the Plan Commission. So the amendment is simply an appropriate environmental buffer adjacent to property site areas to the west of addresses at West Hill Drive of a recommended depth that's covered by the statement that I gave you, just as an outline. I'm not trying to direct, or I'm just sharing where we're coming from to have an amendment get drafted. Also, I'm approaching 58 rings on my tree. I've been a lifelong Fitchburg resident, 56 years in Fitchburg. Planted the trees at McKee Farms Park back in the day while going to the UW. It's not about me. It's about this opportunity to look at environmental buffer. You can see that's in that document there that we shared, that we drafted to submit. So I don't need to read that right now. But if there's anything you can do to make that an option, to implement an appropriate amendment, Mrs. Gerhardt and Ms. Mayor for the Plan Commission, we'd be delighted. That was the number 2 issue after high densities, was preserving the character of the neighborhood. As shared, Mr. Sipple walked the neighborhood. He was just amazed, unsolicited 3 times. He said, it's amazing walking this site and seeing this without looking at at overview maps and street view maps. So he was just amazed at it, like seeing what we see. So please come and see it. It's as you know, environmental buffers, there's just hundreds of white pines that have been planted there. It's just quite a feature. But to wrap up my little statement here is back to the amendment, and thank you for this time. And if there's any way we can talk further on that, it's hard to get a hold of alders. And Micah, we're grateful you're our new alder here in District 4. Nice to meet you tonight. Nicole, thanks for all your correspondence in the past. Mr. Herbst, you're in the air somewhere. You've been amazing for all the things you've done for the details in the city. I know you're listening. Thank you so much for this time. One last thing, I have 22 seconds. I've been a real estate appraiser for 25 years. I've done hundreds of appraisals where site areas back up to these environmental buffers. The prices just go up. I couldn't wait to buy the property that my wife and I got, and we love it. We don't want to leave. We just absolutely love it. Thank you for your time, Ms. Mayor and Ms. Gerhardt. We hope to work with you.
Thank you, Andrew. Diane, Craig, and Beverly. Do you want to speak? Yes? Okay, come in.
Thank you. My name is Dwayne Craig, and I live at 2404 West Hill Drive. And I would have the same mind pretty much towards this issue as does Mr. Lager. And I'm just wondering if it would be all right, Madam Mayor, to have him continue on. He's much better presentator than I am, and I would appreciate if you could do that, if you'd use my time for that.
So that he has any additional information about this, or?
I'm sorry?
Does he has any additional information about this topic, or?
Yes, he said he does. So
Okay.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Basically, the information is right at your fingertips that the gentleman handed out, the summary message of a buffer. I could just go through this briefly here real quickly. Several Greenfield residents along West Hill Drive have respectfully asked for your consideration of amendment to the neighborhood plan of environmental buffer. Doing so would accomplish several shared goals. Increase tax revenue for the city for more units about the environmental corridor, since properties abutting wildlands or green spaces equal higher property values than those adjoining just simple plain housing districts that are without green spaces right up to the curb and so forth. The environmental buffer protects existing residents' viewscape and community character. A small strip of land between old and new developments ensures our community character is preserved with minimal impacts to the current plan. The environmental buffer provides places for wildlife to thrive and be enjoyed by residents in meeting several components of the city's mission and city's sustainable plan and the Parks and Open Spaces Comprehensive Plan. Plantings of native grasses, shrubs, and preserving existing trees. The small area of land to the west of West Hill Drive checks all the boxes in terms of providing new and old residents with additional green space to enjoy, promoting native grasses and shrubs versus existing invasive species, preserving views and existing community character, providing new residents unique views and character as well, preserving existing wildlife habitat and creating new wildlife habitat and water infiltration and wetland services, reducing stormwater runoff, reducing nutrient loads to lakes and rivers, providing the city with valuable stormwater retention services and many other positive benefits that are otherwise lost opportunities with the current plan. We welcome anyone to come take a look and see the value of that 1960s subdivision at that time and how it's growing to now with a buffer at that area. Thank you for your time. Very, very grateful once again. I'm done with my time. Mrs. Craig does not need to speak. Unless you had did you want anything to say, Mrs. Craig? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are done with the public appearances for non-agenda items. Here for you. Okay, so next we are going to go through 4A, is recognition of Police Sergeant Logan Brown. This is a certificate of appreciation that we are going to present to Sergeant Logan Brown in appreciation of your exceptional leadership and dedication in organizing the 2025 Community Night Out at the McKee Farm Park. Your efforts were instrumental in bringing our community together, creating a welcoming atmosphere and ensuring the success of this special event. The engaging activities, valuable resources, and sense of connection you helped foster received overwhelmingly positive feedback from attendees. Your commitment to strengthening our community and supporting the mission of the Fitchburg Police Department has made a lasting impact. We sincerely thank you for the hard work, dedication, and remarkable contribution to Community Night Out. So thank you. Logan, if you can come to the... Oh, come, Chief, Nathan, yeah.
So why this is about me, like most police officers do, I'm going to set myself aside for a minute and just take this time to recognize the folks that really make it possible out in the community to make this event come together. First and foremost, ever since the Fitchburg Law Enforcement Foundation was created, they've been one of our pivotal supporters of this event and really make the fun of the event come to life, if you will, from the petting zoo to the bounce houses, all the things that keep the kids entertained for the night. We have many businesses and nonprofits across the city and even outside of the city, from Hy-Vee to the VFW Post to Badger Popcorn, General Beverage, Whizpack Brands, and many more that I'm likely forgetting that allow us to have all of the food and the snacks that we have for the evening. And I'll also call out Pet Supplies Plus, who makes sure that we're able to give all of the kids Kona Ice that night. Community Night Out was founded on the premise of National Night Out, which is historically a very large and law enforcement or emergency services heavy event. And here in Fitchburg, we've done something a little bit different with that event, and we've really made it more of a community event. And I would say probably 90% of the city departments across the city participated in one way or another, whether that was parks, getting the park ready and opening the shelter and putting the garbages out, whether it was streets for putting up the road signs to advertise, or loaning us stakes to hang our signs up, HR for doing the scavenger hunt. When I first started this, and I never thought that HR would be a part of Community Night Out. And so many more, the senior center, the library, and many, many others. And then everybody at the police department. You know, I plan the event, but I certainly don't do it alone, and so I want to recognize those folks that came out to volunteer that night and make the event possible. From my perspective, it's really having what we believe to be the largest event ever in not only Fitchburg, but in Community Night Out, National Night Out since in Dane County with almost 4,000 people showing up. We're really proud of that because that goes to show the support that the police department and emergency services has in this city. And so we're grateful for that. We're grateful for everybody here that showed up, and we look forward to seeing you all next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So next, we have a mayoral proclamation recognizing September as a Hunger Action Month. Nicole?
Proclaiming September 2025 as Hunger Action Month. Whereas Second Harvest Food Bank of Southern Wisconsin reports that more than 60,000 people in Dane County, including nearly 14,000 children, experience food insecurity, meaning they lack consistent access to enough food, and
whereas food insecurity is a systemic issue that can affect anyone, often linked to high living costs, expensive housing, unemployment or underemployment, and barriers to healthcare, and
whereas hunger makes daily life more difficult. Students struggle to focus in school, workers have less energy and productivity, families must choose between food and other essentials, and those with chronic illnesses face worse health outcomes, and
whereas hunger is not caused by a lack of food or individual failure, there's enough food to feed everyone in our community, but inequities in access prevent many neighbors from getting the nutritious food they need, and
whereas organizations such as Second Harvest Food Bank and its network of pantries, meal sites, and hunger relief programs work tirelessly to close this gap. But lasting solutions require community-wide action. And
whereas the City of Fitchburg recognizes the importance of addressing food insecurity in our community, and through the Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative grant program provides funding to support several local food pantries, demonstrating the city's commitment to both raising awareness and providing resources to organizations that serve residents in need, and
whereas during Hunger Action Month, we join together under the call, "We can end hunger when we all work together," recognizing that collaboration among individuals, businesses, organizations, and governments is essential to building a community where everyone has the food they need to thrive.
So now, therefore, I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, along with the members of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim September 2025 as a Hunger Action Month in the City of Fitchburg and encourage all residents to join in raising awareness, supporting local hunger relief efforts, and working together to ensure that no one in our community goes hungry. This is proclaimed tonight, September 9 of 2025. Okay, so I'm going to take the picture. Is anyone on the audience for, no, Second Harvest?
you have the gift of blood.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, anyone want to say something about this month of, no? Okay. Okay, so next we are moving to the mayoral appointment, and we have a couple, we have only 5 tonight. So first one, I'm gonna call, what is that? I need, someone had to make a motion or no? Yeah. Someone had to make a motion. No.
2.
So we are going to call one person at a time. Yeah. So, okay, who is going to move?
So effectively, we need a motion to approve the first mayoral appointee and then each subsequent one after that.
So I move that to a mayoral appointment of Jessica Arendez, new appointment, Community Equity Advisory Committee. Term expires April 18th, 2028.
Second.
Okay, so Jessica, yes, you can come to the microphone, introduce yourself, and tell us why you want to join this committee and something about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Arendis. I am someone who has committed a lot of, oh God, sorry. I am someone who has lived in this community for 10 plus years now. My family and I chose to come to this community because of the diversity and the equity and the environmental sustainability that we saw already happening. And I am honored to be considered and approved for serving on this committee. I have a couple of certifications in leading for equity, and I'm a Latina woman myself, and I would like to see all of this work continue for my family and for those that come after.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comment?
Not specifically for Jessica, but are the terms in the new equity committee staggered, or is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is why you will see all of these different expiration dates.
Yes.
So yes. Any other question? Okay. All those in favor of approving Jessica Arendas for the to be a member of the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So thank you and welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
So next one is I need another motion.
I move to approve. Oh, are you okay? I move to approve William Gillespie to an appointment to the Community Equity Advisory Committee, whose term expires April 20th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, Bill is.
He's not here.
He's not here, but you know, he was part of the original team, and he was part of this team since the beginning, and he already was one of the presenters in the last meeting. So, okay, all those any question? No. All those in favor of approving William how do you pronounce it? Gillespie. Yeah. To the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carried. Next one.
I'll move that we approve Janice Hughes for a new appointment to the Community Equity Advisory Committee, term expiring April 21st of 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have Janice here.
Good evening, everyone. I am Janice Hughes. I am a long-term resident, homeowners of Fitchburg, 28 years plus. And my background, I'm a retired human resource professional and a small business owner. I actually have a lot of experience relative to the work of this committee from a government perspective, a corporate perspective, and a business perspective for nonprofits. I actually believe that this committee is extremely important to our community here. Why do I apply for this position? I was one of the original folks for the ad hoc committee. My background aligns very well with the work of this committee. I also am very committed to our community and helping it thrive and move forward, hopefully. And then lastly, I do believe that my lived experience will add value to this committee. In addition, as we grow as a city in population, we also have quite the diversity. And that makes this committee, in my opinion, extremely, extremely important. I think that it will help with our policies, our practices, our procedures, and hopefully become a part of the fabric of our city. Finally, I also believe that this is a positive way of supporting our mantra of being welcoming, inclusive, providing opportunities for people to thrive and belong. And I think that is very, very important for us all to take a look at and work at this from a broad perspective. Actually, I guess if we think about it, this is a great opportunity for us to, so to speak, walk our talk. And that's my reason for wanting to be on this team. That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Janice. Any questions? Yes, Joe.
I just want to say, like, the work that you've done with the committee of Aging Well with the Senior Center clearly demonstrates your commitment. I don't think I've ever seen a committee member as active as you are, and not only like being active on the committee, but also like creating new opportunities. So I just want to state that for you and for the public to just know that your work is appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo Alder Maldonado's sentiments. Ms. Hughes is one of those definitely committed and outspoken committee members, because you can be rest assured that if she heard something during those meetings that she didn't like or didn't agree with, you're going to get a phone call afterwards, and we need to talk about it a little further. And and it's always welcome with appreciation, because that's actually showing like you're committed to what it is that you're doing. So we appreciate that level of engagement. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So all those in favor of approving Janice Hughes as a new member of the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So thank you. Muchas gracias, Janice, for all the... So next one.
I will move to accept the appointment of Emmanuel Munoz Monsalve to the Community Equity Committee, Advisory Committee. Term expires 4/20/2027.
Second.
Okay, Emmanuel is not here with us today, but he sent an email, and I share with all of you. So all those in favor of approving Emmanuel Monsalve as a new member of the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So next one.
I move approval of Christopher Peguero as a new appointment to the Community Equity Advisory Committee. Term expires April 18, 2028.
Second.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, Christopher Peguero. It's hard to follow Janice because Janice is phenomenal. Also, I'm much better in our meetings that we've had on the ad hoc committee, really kind of expressing my opinion and having those good arguments that we've had in those meetings. I'm incredibly honored just to be considered for this committee. I've been doing the work for quite a long time in multiple sectors. You often hear of me talk about Seattle and the work that we've done with the city's Race and Social Justice Initiative there, but also with the city of Madison and the racial equity and social justice work. I think, I truly believe that our government can be an example of equity and justice for all, where we really can build policies that benefit all folks. It takes work, not just from a committee like ours, but also city staff, for individuals like yourselves in elected positions. And I believe that when we come together to have that vision, that really we can create a city that everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And at the end of the day, when everyone has that ability, we're stronger for that. And that's the vision that I have for Fitchburg as a resident of almost 4.5 years now from Seattle. We brought our family here. Are very proud to live here. Our school district in Verona is amazing, and we're a diverse family. I want to continue for my family and for all of us to feel welcomed and safe, and that we can continue to be here as a community for one another. I think it's probably one of the best investments you'll ever make of having an equity committee like this to help form that foundation of equity and justice for all. So thank you for consideration, and I really appreciate having this committee as a permanent committee of the city.
Thank you, Chris.
I just wanted to briefly just state my appreciation for you coming out for this committee. I know when I was elected to city council and had to leave my seat on the school board, I was incredibly proud that somebody like you would fill it. And I know that not only do you bring your background and perspective, but you and I share a passion for tiny little Boombas who are consistently hungry and always laughing at Puss in Boots shows. But I appreciate so much the different perspectives that you bring and the thoughtfulness that you bring and the passion that you bring. And I think that the biggest thing is that you're open to hearing other perspectives. And I really, really appreciate that. So just thank you for continuing your service and being willing to help our very diverse community. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
I just wanted to express my appreciation for Chris as well. Chris was one of those individuals who was with the ad hoc committee from the beginning. Always was never afraid to state his opinions, even if they were different from others. And I think that was the real true benefit of this committee. So many different experiences and personalities coming together to stretch everyone's thinking and not just to go along with groupthink for the sake of moving meetings forward. So I appreciated Chris, and even in the face of some insurmountable challenges that he faced, he still didn't quit. Like, he kept going with this work. He still applied to be a part of this committee. So I have nothing but good things to say about Chris and his work as we move this stuff forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Joe.
Echoing my colleagues, but also pointing out the important connection to Indigenous thinking and the connection that our land has to the Ho-Chunk people. Bringing in Ryan Greendeer to kind of talk about, can we honor our Ho-Chunk brothers and sisters, and also your perspective as, also having roots in the Menominee Nation, I think is really important dialogue to have to keep going in the city of Fitchburg. So appreciative to you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of approving Christopher Peguero as a new member of the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. So thank you. Gracias, Chris.
Thank you.
So there is, this committee, it says we are still missing one appointment that I'm going to make that decision in the next couple of weeks. So, okay. So next we move to the consent agenda.
Second.
Any question, comments? Here none. All those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carried. Thank you. So next we move to the administrator report.
Good evening, everyone. I'll start off with a few events you may be interested in. The Juniper Apartments, located to the east in the Hartung Fields development, is having their ribbon cutting and grand opening this coming Friday at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I believe the formal ribbon cutting is at 5:30.
Yes.
Also on Friday, the Senior Center is having its National Senior Center Month party. That'll be, weather permitting, out on the patio area of the Senior Center from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the annual appearance of the Red Hot Horn Dogs will also be there as well.
And which date was that?
That's this coming Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Friday.
Yep, a lot of things on Friday. The annual fall recycling event for electronics and confidential paper shredding is happening this Saturday, the 13th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at City Hall. The next Fitchburg Chamber of Commerce Biz After 4 event is September 17th at 4:30 p.m., and that'll be held at the Flight Wine and Bourbon Bar in Terra Vesa. The library has resumed Sunday hours from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That will continue until mid-May, as they typically do, generally speaking, between Labor Day and Memorial Day. The raising of units is continuing at the Country View Mobile Home Park. There's a couple of units remaining that the contractor is currently in process of removing. The Park and Forestry Manager position that was approved at Personnel Committee meeting last week. That position has been posted, and the city is actively recruiting for that position. And then finally, I don't know if you are subscribers to In Business Madison magazine, but I want to recognize that the city of Fitchburg actually has 2 of the 100 Power 100 members on that particular list. Our Economic Development Director, Mike Zimmerman, is a repeat honoree on that list, and Mayor Julia is a first-time honoree on that list. So congratulations to both of them.
Thank you, Chad.
That's all that I have. Any questions?
We got some good talent. That wasn't a question, it was just a comment.
Yes, Logan.
I just wanted to ask Chad if the garbage issues have been resolved at Country View as well. If I believe the email was that there was some waste management out there now. Just want to make sure that that is a continual solution.
It is my understanding that, yes, some dumpsters have been placed. I am not certain who exactly has paid for or entered into that contract with Waste Management, so I can't say for certain how long it will last, but at least at this point in time, yes, there is dumpsters available for the residents there.
Any other question for Chad? Okay, so next, thank you, Chad. We move to the mayor's report. So the other thing that we have been working with Chad, Misty, and Adam is in the 2026 budget. So we are continuing. I think we are very close. It has to be out. The public notice has to be out next Monday, and the budget is going to be published on September 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then you will have the opportunity to review the budget, prepare amendments. So I want to extend my thanks to all the head of department, because this is a team effort working on this budget, and so. And the vehicle registration fee, I will say, help us to move forward for next year. So, okay, so what else? I attended yesterday to the opening of a daycare facility in Fitchburg. They moved from Madison to here. Is a Grateful Heart childcare and preschool. Is so Alder Jetser also attended the ribbon cutting. This is we need more daycare in the city of Fitchburg, so it was a great event. I had the opportunity, and I invite you, if you have the opportunity to attend the solar grazing tour last Sunday. It was amazing to see what they are doing there with the grazing of, and applying some new technology on that effort. So, what else? And also want to, the League of American Bicyclists recognized 4 Fitchburg businesses with the Bicycle Friendly Business Award. The new awardees are Flight Wine and Bourbon Bar, bronze; Limerick Senior Apartment, silver; Tati Coffee Shop and Market, bronze; and the 30 Goat Restaurant, silver. So there's going to be a big event in October. I think Joyce already sent an invite to all of you to attend. We are going to do a recognition of all the awardees. So I hope you can attend that event. What else? That's it. This is for me. Any question? Nope. Okay. So then we move to item 8, is the Commission and Committees report, and we will start with the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. I will start with the resolution, which is all I have today. I'll move approval of Ordinance 2025-017, amending Chapter 22 of the Fitchburg Code of Ordinances by creating Chapter 22, Section 22.8, requirements regarding solar energy collection systems, repealing and recreating Chapter 22, Article 2, Division 4, RM Medium Density Residential, creating Chapter 22, Article 2, Division 9, RH High Density Urban District, creating Chapter 22, Article 2, Division 10, uses applicable to all residential districts, repealing and recreating Chapter 22, Article 3, Division 3, BG General Business District, and amending Chapter 22, Article 7, Division 2, Section 22651 definitions, as amended by Housing Advisory, Plan Commission, and CETA.
Second.
Okay, so Gabriela, when you explain
Yeah, I
what
can
we're doing?
give a
Yeah.
kind of a summary from Plan Commission. We've actually talked about this quite a bit. Deanna introduced this to the Plan Commission the meeting or two before, and then we discussed it at our meeting back in August. So there are a variety of changes here. The memo is pretty extensive, so hopefully you got a good sense by reading the memo, but a summary from me. Section 22.8 is for solar projects, so this really makes it simpler for solar to be installed in really all zoning districts and gives some guidance for it. The Sol Smart Model Ordinance was used as a basis for it, so there's some best practice incorporated. There are also lots of updates to medium density residential. There is, this basically allows small single family and duplex lots to be created. The minimum lot size is now 3,000 square feet, which is down from 7,200 square feet, which obviously would change how big the houses can, or how big the lots have to be, which will create more opportunities. And just overall allows a wider range of housing types, like we'd like to see things like you might kind of that missing middle housing that you might imagine. It would allow for that by right. Reduced widths and setbacks allow zero lot line homes like what you see in Terra Vesa. The current code really is not usable right now. Everything in this kind of medium density type is in a PDD, Plan Development District, which is a custom zoning district. There's also high density residential changes. There's going to be it's a new zoning district, high density residential urban. Deanna explained that the reason for this was rather than just automatically changing high density across the board, it would be better to create a separate district that we can utilize until we do a full zoning code rewrite and have a chance to look at the full picture. So we leave high density as it is right now to avoid any unintended consequences. And this would allow all sorts of things that we are already doing, but allow it rather than doing a PDD, being able to create it from as is. So it would allow interesting things like cottage housing, courtyard apartments, multifamily apartments. Lots can be as small as 5,000 square feet. And then we would be rezoning things to high density residential urban rather than going to PDD, but it'll make it a lot easier from a staff perspective. And then we added co-op housing to it in the Plan Commission to make that easier, both to the medium density and to the high density urban. The other changes to allow accessory dwelling units or ADUs in all residential zoning districts. A couple of notes here. CETA did make some changes to kind of specify that it has to be on a permanent foundation and water sewer has to run to it. That's laid out in the referral sheet. But a couple of highlights here. The dependency relationship is not required, so you could have someone that's not a family member living in an ADU. Either building, the ADU or the primary, can be rented out by the owner. So for example, a situation like somebody has a house that's too big, so they build an ADU in their backyard to move into, and then they rent out their bigger home to a young family, for example. They are not allowed to be sold separately, so it has to be owned by one person. And then the CD also added some stipulations that it has to be similar to the character of the home. And there's other stipulations like it can't be more than 75% of the square footage of the main floor. Really specific things to kind of make it very clear that it's a permanent structure, smaller building, but within the character of the neighborhood. And then one ADU per lot. So that is specific. There's update to business general. This will allow residential units to be built above businesses, which is a pretty common. We don't really have a mixed use district, so this allows us to basically create that with business general. It also allows limited residential on the first floor, really not facing the sidewalk, but there could be some situations where it would be helpful to have residential on the first floor, but they can go ahead and put buildings above it. Now, it's not it's not like unlimited. I think we talked in Housing Advisory last night where you can't just build 15 stories above your business, but if you go above a certain height, which I think was like 3 or 4 stories, you'd have to get a conditional use permit. So, and then would have to go through a higher level of scrutiny. But housing could go in immediately within those districts. And then the last section was adding new definitions to help clarify all of these changes. Anything you want to add, Deanna?
That was very thorough.
I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yes, I would. Just a little bit of context. The goal of the changes as you all know, we have 2 zoning ordinances in the city of Fitchburg, which is very unusual. We have our smart code, and then we have our traditional Euclidean zoning, which is what these updates are directed to, is that traditional zoning ordinance. It was really written for a much different time period, for a very suburban Fitchburg back in the 1980s. And so I'm not trying to fix everything in this zoning ordinance. We're just trying to get us a little bit better so we make sure that we can meet the needs for today's housing and make sure that we ease the permitting process. We permit housing to the best that we can. I can't say that I, as the planning director, has turned away much for housing based on our zoning, but this should make things easier. That said, it's not the end-all, be-all tonight. We are going into the comp plan amendments as soon as we finish up those neighborhood plans, and we'll follow with the comp plan, we'll follow with a full zoning code rewrite that will give us that bigger picture, which I think is very important. So just a little context.
Okay, so any question, comments? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a bunch, and I don't know if you've had a chance to read through those yet.
Not thoroughly,
Okay.
Alder Jetzer.
So some of this is just, typos and, it says underground mounted where it should say the area underground mounted.
I see.
So, yeah. Section 22.113.1 says residential occupancy of a single-family or two-family attached dwelling unit structure. And that seems ambiguous. Does the attached apply to just the two-family or both the single-family and two-family? So if that could just be clarified in there.
Yeah, and I apologize that it's not very clear, but it does apply to the single family attached. If you'll read a little bit farther into that section, it's referring to zero lot line single family. So you could have single family lots with the attached units side by side in that medium density zoning as I have proposed. So we could make a clarification there.
And then I was reading through the setbacks and, this is 22.115.1 through 4. Nearly all the numbers are the same, but there's a few that are missing and a few that are different. And I just wanted to make sure that those discrepancies were intentional.
2 of them are.
Okay.
Okay. I think the one that your email refers to maximum front yard setback, I did place that in 2 of the 4 different versions, and you are correct. I did leave it off on 2 of them.
Okay.
So if you feel that it's crucial, we could do an amendment, or we could approach it I could do the changes and bring them back to council.
I mean, I just don't want somebody to notice it and see a loophole and then do something that we don't really want them to do. And if that wouldn't pass through Plan Commission, then maybe we just leave it, or if that could be a friendly amendment.
We have these small technical corrections. Can we just call them friendly amendments?
I'll defer to the city administrator.
Yeah, I think if we're talking, some of these typos and grammar-related things, I think, yes, if you're comfortable with the city attorney and planning staff being able to resolve these technical corrections, if this were to pass this evening, then I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So then the street side setback and the maximum building height, those were intentional?
Those were intentional. And those were referring to the zero lot line, single family. And I oftentimes, in my experience with the development in Terravesa, a little bit extra height and a little bit narrower on the side setbacks can be very beneficial in this context. And just for some context, the way that this medium density is being rewritten is really kind of fits into Terravesa, right? So there's a mix of duplexes, small lot, single family, some row houses that are all kind of mixed in together. That's what this particular section is designed to do.
Then in the solar field section 22.8E12C, for decommissioning, it says restoration of soils and vegetation to the condition prior to the development of the solar energy collection system. But, part of putting the solar field in is that we've got to put, native grasses or native plantings, pollinator friendly sorts. So if that's a better condition than the original, I would hate to see us insist that somebody tear that out.
Yeah, I think it's a fair criticism. The only justification, in this case, we were pulling from the SolSmart model ordinance.
Okay.
Certainly what we could do here is restoration, development, solar collection, to the condition prior or
better.
Or better.
Or agreeable to, I'm not sure how to word it.
In zoning, better, I could go around
Subjective.
in circles with someone with better. But
agreeable to all parties involved or something.
Yeah, this might be, I hate to say this, but something like this might be restoration to the condition prior to development of the solar energy system, or as approved by zoning administrator is something that would be more.
I mean, realistically, if this is a kind of a short-term zoning change, we maybe just leave this alone because nobody's going to be decommissioning a solar field in the next year or 3.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Yeah, but.
Okay. Then I guess moving on, 22.115.2.d, the garage setback. It says, it's got to be setback so far from the plane of the principal structure. Is that a well-defined term?
It is not well-defined in the zoning ordinance as we have written. It just refers to where the primary facade of the building is.
So, so the porch would be in front of that plane,
right,
typically.
Right.
Okay.
So that the porch would not be, it would be the primary plane of the building.
Again, I just don't want somebody to jump through a loophole.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point.
And let me know if I'm reading these correctly here, but in 22-225.3, we're in the residential, the high density residential urban zone, and it says maximum of 8 units per building.
Yes, it does say that. So that is our current high density, and you can go as high as you want by conditional use. The way that I have envisioned and brought forward this this high density urban zoning district is kind of to get 2 main points here. One is to expand the opportunity for a wider range of housing, such as cottage courts or middle housing, right? Or courtyard apartments. So at the same time, we're trying to reduce the numbers of our planned development district. But I left the maximum of 8 units. I mean, we could talk about the different kinds and the different numbers that we might want to go to, but what I'm trying to do here is not have a situation where we have a great new cottage court being built on this lot, and then next door somebody wants to put 200 units. That's what I'm trying to avoid with this situation. So the way that it's written is that you can have as many units as you want, but it's by conditional use. And that reflects back to with your 22-227.8, the maximum of 3 stories, 45 feet. You can go as high as you want with conditional use.
Okay, so it was intentional that anything above that is conditional. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that was actually intentional.
Okay, and then the last one then is 22-226.5.c.2. Commercial units need to be located at the public street facade with direct access to the public street sidewalk. And I just want to make sure that doesn't preclude like a pedestrian, a fully pedestrianized area, like a linear park surrounded by vertical mixed use. Does that count as a street? What is our definition of street?
So the zoning code doesn't specifically talk about what the definition of a street is here. I saw that your link, in my mind, yes. The answer to your question is yes on
that would be allowed.
Would be allowed, yes. As long, what I was getting at here is public street, or really that public, that it's not just, that it has public access. That's the main point here.
Okay.
Was the intention, the main intention here is the public access and the public street. So, and that has more to do with that we don't want to have, if we're going to, if it's BG, right? So we're talking about BG here, and we just, or high density residential, and we want to make sure that the commercial units are part of that street facade, that street environment, and contributing to the street experience. That's the main point here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Okay, who's next? Mike.
All right, one thing on the solar stuff and then one on ADUs. So solar, I want to do a little, I probably should have noticed this when this was on the consent agenda, and I'll apologize. I probably should have asked for this to be referred to Ag and Rural, just because that's kind of where a lot of these things are going. And like, I think that, I know they've talked about this in the past, and so maybe we can talk to them or put it on the agenda for next time just to talk about it. I really like the restoring back to the initial land use I agree with, but I also I really like the idea in here of requiring a bond or some sort of requirement that money be set aside to restore that land. If it's MG&E, I'm not concerned about them abiding by that, but if it's a private owner, it's pretty easy to just set up an LLC that at the end of a 30-year term has no assets and no revenue left in it, and then you can bankrupt that LLC and it just goes away. So if we're dealing with someone with a private contract that wants to set up one of these things, I think that would just best practice. I'd like to see that. So I'm glad it's in here. And then for ADUs, I am totally supportive of ADUs. I think I like all of these changes. The one thing I would like to propose is I am concerned about ADUs or the main house on that being used as a short-term rental or an Airbnb or something like that. 2 reasons for that. One, it doesn't solve the housing problem that we're trying to solve by making this change, and that it's just going to become a short-term rental. And 2, I am very supportive of ADUs. I think it's a good idea. I've read the literature, I've seen the studies, I've watched the presentations of it working in other cities, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in our city and all the residents in our city and all the people that we're trying to bring along in creating this housing have not necessarily read those things or agree with them, and they may have some trepidation about someone building a house in their backyard. And I think that's valid and that should be addressed. And I think that one way we can do that, or one way that I think that trust is not going to be built, is if someone builds an ADU in their backyard and starts renting it out for Badger games, and it immediately makes people turn against this kind of thing. So I would request that there be, and we can do this as an amendment or something, but I think the easiest way to do this is what I think Los Angeles did, and maybe what Madison did. I think Madison may have just said you can't have any short-term rental. I would be fine with saying something like a minimum rental period of 30 days or something like that. So that would, I think, essentially say that it wouldn't be a short-term rental. So I'm happy to hear what other people think about that, but that's just kind of what I propose.
I'm just going to chime in here if I may. So certainly understand and appreciate the feedback there, Alder Lattice. There have been a couple of recent court cases that have recently been ruled regarding short-term rental ordinances. So I think before we would make any amendments on the floor, if you want to share with Deanna any further information, maybe via email or through a phone conversation, we can consult with city staff and the city attorney on how best to potentially incorporate that, because I do anticipate a forthcoming update that'll be legally required related to our existing short-term rental ordinance. So I don't want to put anything here now that we may have to modify in the short term.
I think
so. You can read more about that on the changes on the short term on the here there is an article in the magazine with
the one that's left for me right here.
Yeah, the changes, so you can see, and then we are following up because maybe it's gonna be appeal. So we are not gonna make any changes until.
I mean, I think Madison just didn't allow it to be used as a short-term rental.
But
what they did in
all
their
of that
ordinance,
short-term is changing the language. So yeah.
Could I just add one context to that? I would love when Valerie maybe does kind of a readout for the group to also understand how HOA policies play in with that, because I know when we talked about this at CEDA, I live in Seminole Forest, and we actually have HOA bylaws that you cannot use it for an Airbnb situation. And so I know when speaking with Valerie, she kind of, or Deanna kind of called out like, yeah, that's in respect to an HOA. And so would love to understand when we do get that final wording from Valerie too, like, and here's the context of what an HOA is, because I'm kind of two minds, but I think it's really smart for us to wait until that legislation comes out and then maybe get her perspective. Cool, thank you.
Who has another question? Who is? No? Logan? Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask the same question that Alder Lattice did about the short-term rentals. I'll just echo everything he said and not belabor that point. But I am firmly in the same opinion as him. One of the things I also, just jogged my mind with my other District 4 colleague, Alder Vafadari here, is there anything that would allow us to, if we wanted to really go kind of full-on supporting of some of these, like the ADU changes, for example, if there's an HOA bylaw or something that says you can't do this in this neighborhood, I don't even know if this is something we'd even want to consider, but I'm just going to kind of raise the thought, is there something we could put in our ordinance that would say that HOAs or neighborhood associations or what have you are not allowed to restrict ADUs? I don't know how that would work, but I'm just kind of curious if it's even an option. Whether or not we'd even want to consider it is another story.
I don't know if that would be an option or not. That'd be a Valerie question.
Yeah. I think they were discussing.
Yeah, they were discussing that at CEDA, and I think the neighborhood or the HOAs override the policy, and we wouldn't be able to stop them.
And the HOAs, it was, sorry, Alder Maldonado, to add to your point, HOAs, if they did want to bring some sort of legal action on a homeowner to be like, hey, you violated this thing you signed when you joined this HOA, they would have to pay lawyer fees to bring that on, and they would have to take legal action against a resident. So there's also kind of that, like, they have to pay for it if they want to take legal action there. But to that point, there could be pursuant to that.
Okay, I have a question. So when you move this the ordinance, we have all different, it was amended practically in Plan Commission, CEDA, and Housing. So which one we are bringing?
I moved it as amended by all three of those
okay, but all
committees.
three. Okay.
And I don't think I actually said, but this was passed in Plan Commission and in Housing Advisory, and you'd have to confirm with the alders, but I believe resource.
Okay, no, good.
RCC as well, kind of with an asterisk that we mainly looked at the solar portion.
Okay, no, good to know because okay. Any other question?
Yeah, I just to follow up, close the circle on the Airbnb. It just seems like, I think that's what we're talking about anyway, but it seems we should revisit our Airbnb policy writ large once we know what the implications are and include ADUs in at that point.
Yeah, I recommend you read the article in the magazine.
So
first.
we'll put it in through that, whatever that becomes. Just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page on that. And then last, I just wanted to say, I probably should have said this to start, but like Dane County faces a very serious housing crisis. I think everyone knows it, at least at some level. But I feel like we're steeped in it in council, being part of these decisions. I'm steeped in it in my job because I work for Habitat for Humanity, and we need more homes. And our zoning code was built at a time that no longer exists. It was what was 1970s, Deanna? Is that when our zoning code was written?
Probably in the 80s.
In the 80s.
When it became a city.
Yeah, it was a very, very different time. And for the time, I'm sure it was great to have these massive lots with these big homes, and that's wonderful, but it's just not the world that we live in anymore. If we want people to have homes that are affordable and that they can own, and we need to be able to allow for these new types of housing. And so I'm really excited to see this first step towards facilitating more of that housing. And I'm really excited as we move into, comp plan update and a full zoning code rewrite, what that looks like. And there's a ton of guidance out there in the regional housing strategy that Dane County has put out. Dane County actually put a document out about zoning best practices that they developed, I believe, in consultation with Veer-Bicker. And just a lot of good work out there across the county. And we're not the only ones doing this. This is happening across the county. So thanks to the planning department for taking time out of their very busy schedule to make this happen. And hopefully this will save you time in the end with having to do fewer PDDs.
Okay, any other question? Yes, Bill.
One thing that we discussed at RCC last night, I'm not sure this was talked about at any point during the zoning code overhaul here. I can't imagine that this is ever going to actually be a problem, but if there's a neighborhood with sufficiently small lots and all the cool kids are building these detached ADUs that are pushing the 75% floor plate, dimensions, consult with the environmental engineer to see if there's ever a case where there could be like local flooding because the stormwater system becomes overwhelmed.
Fair point. Will do.
Okay, any other question? Okay, Dave, do you have any question? Okay, thank you. So I want to say thank you, Diana, and your team for bringing forward this housing, this changes to the zoning code. I think we are moving in the right direction. We need to increase our supply of housing at any prices, any type, and I think providing that flexibility, we can. I hope we can see more, increase our housing supply. Okay, so all those in favor of
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Are we approving this with both the Plan Commission amendments and CEDA amendments?
Yeah, we are approving with all the,
And a minor housing advisory committee amendments and then technical corrections as well.
So all those in favor of approving this ordinance 2025-0-17 with the amendments coming from CEDA, Housing, and
Plan.
What is the other? Plan Commission, and the minor, what is the friendly amendment? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ordinance is approved. So thank you. Anything else from Plan?
We meet next week.
Okay, thank
Tuesday.
you. So next we move to the Board of Public Works.
Madam Mayor, Bill will be handling these tonight.
Okay, thank you.
I will move approval of Resolution R-12925, accepting assignment of vegetation management contracts.
Second.
Board of Public Works approved. Resource Conservation Commission approved.
Did Finance Committee approve?
Finance approved.
Okay, what is this?
We have Field and Stream Restoration LLC contracts in place. The owner of that organization has retired and essentially transferred all of the business assets and contracts to their employees, who have formed a new company, Field and Stream Ecological, Inc. It's a different company, same people, same equipment. The new owner is one of the former employees of the Field and Stream Restoration LLC. So what we're doing here is just saying we're going to transfer our contracts to the new owners.
Okay.
It's all the same contracts with all the same pricing.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comment? This is pretty simple. All those in favor of resolution R-129-25, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one.
I will move approval of Resolution R-14325, granting an underground electric easement on Outlot 7 in Fahey Fields, which is McGaw Park. This was postponed from the August 26, 2025 Common Council meeting. And I will move as amended by Public Works.
Second.
This was approved by Public Works.
This is approved by Plan.
So the amendment, so this is a fairly straightforward easement. The amendment that came out of Public Works is to direct MG&E to not install a transformer until the Board of Public Works requests it.
Okay, why
Can I ask
are
a
you
clarifying
yeah.
question? I just want to ask a clarifying question. Alder Gerhart, you mentioned Plan Commission approved. Did it approved as amended or with no amendments?
No amendments.
Just wanted that on record.
Also, can you explain why we're doing this? I mean, you know?
Well, this is Dave's amendment, so he may want to speak as well, but the idea is that we're okay with the easement, but we don't want MG&E to move forward because then we're going to be incurring the monthly connection fees until such time as the lights go in. Is that a fair summary, Dave?
That is absolutely correct. It is not before for a couple of outlets out there that aren't needed. I don't want to pay the service fee. I think that's a waste of money.
And I guess to clarify, do we know what those service connection fees are? Are we talking about tens of dollars per month, hundreds, thousands?
I don't have that information available.
I poked around on MG&E's website, and they have residential and they have business. So if it's business for a municipality, then, you know, depending on how many kilowatts we're drawing, it's either like 79 cents a day, $7 a day, $15 a day, or $30 a day. I guess the top line item that I looked at was going to be no more than $5,500 in an entire year, which didn't seem like a lot of this. I don't know.
Is this
just to set
Okay, I want
level-set
to make a
expectations.
clarification here before we move with this. You're going to see another resolution coming, it's going to be referred on September 23rd. We are going to complete this project. We are going to add the rest of the lights. It's coming. So I think we need to approve this resolution as it was presented to you, because we need these easements because we are going to finalize this project this fall, and because you are going to see another resolution coming with a budget amendment to finalize this project. So I want to tell you this.
Madam Mayor, we'll approve the easement. We want to approve the easement, but we don't want anything done until you're ready to put the lights in. I think it's wasteful for the taxpayers to incur those fees until that time.
Okay, but I
It
have
won't take them long.
Yeah, but I also have another problem with the language of this, because it says the transformer service for the lighting will not be installed until request approved by the Board of Public Works. I think, you know what I mean? I think that our Public Works director, he can make that call. I don't think that it had to go to the Board of Public Works to make that decision, but this is me. I don't understand, but how much,
would
how
kind
we
of-
are gonna save, like, what,
Mayor,
2 or 3 months?
Mayor, hey, Mayor.
Yeah.
I think both of Micah and I are kind of aligned on that in terms of like, yes, all for not starting stuff until it makes fiscal sense, but like, that's why we have a professional director of public works, to your point of like, I do, what I want to stop, or what, not stop, because we don't do this often, but what I want to avoid, and I won't speak for Mike on this behalf, but I don't want management of the city by committee. I do trust the director of public works to make that decision of like, I don't think that the board of public works should be the one that has to approve when that happens. I think the director of public works, Tim can make that decision of like, yes, let's be good and fastidious with our money. So to your point, I guess my question to the last assertion that I don't think this should go back to the Committee of Public Works. So does that mean I vote no on this amendment?
I move to remove the amendment from Public Works.
Right.
Sorry, from Board of Public
Because that's what
Works.
it means, that it would go back to the committee to approve when these things are done. I would second that motion. I don't want city management by committee.
Okay, so we have an amendment on the table to remove the amendment from Public Works. Any discussion? Yeah.
I just have one question kind of about the timing. To kind of get into the practical effects of the deliberation here, how long do we think would potentially, we could potentially find ourselves in a situation if we vote on this as originally presented to us, between when an easement would be granted and then we install and have that service charge? You know, I guess I'm wondering if that's are we looking at that for 1 month or 6 months? I just kind of want to have some clarity on, you know, if we're talking about something that, and getting into the weeds for something that's going to be an issue for 60 days and we pay $12, I'll pony up the cash.
Sure. I can't answer that question specifically, but what I do know is that based upon direction from Mayor Julia, staff is preparing to present a resolution and referral at the next Common Council meeting that would add the lights there. When this project was approved originally by Common Council, it was approved to include the infrastructure to add lights at a later time. Obviously, the lights are being added in an earlier time frame than had been previously indicated. Staff has been in contact with the contractor completing the McGaw pickleball court expansion. It's my understanding that they're willing to honor the price that they had optioned for the lights, and it is possible that those lights could be installed yet this year or early next year as part of the project. If this were to be approved this evening, it doesn't mean that MG&E is going to install the infrastructure immediately, and we're going to get into their hopper, so to speak, and, you know, whether it happens next week or in 6 months that we actually have service, I don't necessarily know. So it would be, you know, somewhat dependent upon when MG&E would actually install the infrastructure if this were to pass as approved by Plan Commission. Anything to add?
I've worked for a utility. I've worked for a utility. I don't believe anyone else has. And it's typically, that might be 60 days, you know, when, you know, you approve the easement and then you tell them, I want this installed somewhere for a month to 60 days is a typical time.
Okay. Can we ask MG&E not to charge us?
I don't think we want to get
All I'm asking, don't put it in until the lights are going in, or if the lights, you know, the lights weren't approved, so they might not pass either, you know.
I think what we could do. Sorry to interrupt, Alder Herbst. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm done. I'm done, Chad.
I think what we could do, obviously, is if this were to pass this evening, city staff can wait until the lights work its way through Common Council and determine if those are passed or not. and then coordinate with the construction company who is doing the project to get a better understanding of when they anticipate installing the lights, and try to coordinate our notification to MG&E along that front as well. So I think there's certainly some steps that we can take to try to alleviate some concerns that are being raised.
I think that's a great suggestion of like council giving direction, because I think Alder Herb's point is in really good spirit of saving the city and the taxpayer dollars, and I think giving that direction makes a ton of sense.
Okay, so I don't think that we need to discuss more on this. We have an amendment on the table to remove the amendment from Public Works. So all those in favor of that say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. Oh, we have one nay, okay?
So now you need to vote.
Now we need two more.
Amended.
Yeah. So now I need all those in favor of approving the amended resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carried. Okay.
All right, moving on. I will move to postpone to a date uncertain Resolution R 15525, accepting subdivision improvements for Phase 4 in the plat of Highfield Reserve.
Second.
There is a missing lien waiver here, so we can't really proceed.
So we are postponing to when?
Date uncertain.
Unset. Okay. All those in favor of postponing resolution R-155-25 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one.
I will also move to postpone to date uncertain Resolution R 15625, accepting subdivision improvements in the plat of Oak Meadow Reserve for the very same reason of a missing lien waiver.
Okay. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of postponing resolution R-156-25 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Okay. Next one.
I will move approval of Resolution R 15825, accepting a partial assignment and assumptions of subdivision improvements agreement for the plat of 7th Edition to 9 Springs.
Second.
Board of Public Works approved.
Okay. What is this?
Tim, did you want me to take this, or do you want to talk through this one?
Sure, this is just an assignment. So back on July 22nd, 2025, Green Tech Land Company and the city entered into a subdivision improvement agreement. So Green Tech Land Company is looking to assign that subdivision improvement agreement to TST Madison IRF LLC. And this is for the Life Point, the rehab hospital going up in Uptown. So they're just looking for an assignment of the public improvements for that project.
Okay. Any question, comments? All those in favor of resolution R-158-25 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Dave. Next one. Oh, so now we are done with Public Works. Anything else from Public Works? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. So next we move to Park Commission. Who's going to do
I'll move
Park?
approval of resolution R-14625, amending 2025 general fund budget for park repairs.
Second.
Okay. What is
Parks approved.
did Finance Committee approve?
Finance approved.
What is this, Dave?
Is Adam there?
Yes, Adam. We are requesting
Okay,
your
I'd like
presence
Adam
here.
to speak to this.
Good evening. So this is a budget amendment to make some repairs at both Quarry Ridge and Dowley. So at Quarry Ridge, we currently have a bathroom that's broken. So we would replace and repair or fix that the toilet in that one bathroom, and then we'd also replace a sensor in a different toilet that's been giving us problems. For Dowley, we would be using the money to replace the partitions. So right now it's a stone type material that has cracked before. We've repaired it. And now instead of trying to repair it again and having it break on us,
we're looking at just making these changes to our typical type partitions. The challenge is if we don't make the repairs in Dolly and it does crack and break, we'll have to shut that restroom down. So looking to transfer this money or move this money through some savings and then make those repairs as soon as we can.
Okay, any question, comments? Yes? Okay, go ahead.
Just a very quick one as a new alder. Is $3,150 for a single toilet an average? It seems a lot more than you go to Menards. I'm just curious.
Yeah, good question. That came up in park commissions as well. So that does include the sensor. The sensor alone in these toilets is about $700. So it is quite pricey. That's one of the comments that came from park commission. They did check with our park supervisor, and there's a significant cost to that. But it's got the automatic flush to it that, when you get up, it flushes. So these are also commercial toilets, and then obviously we're hiring a plumber to do the work too. But we're not happy either. I'll be honest with you.
Do we need to install a sensor in those type of toilets? I am asking because
that's probably a bigger question long term. I mean, then obviously if you're not installing that, then the issue comes when they're not getting flushed, and then how long does it sit in there? Which I don't think we need to get in that conversation. But I mean, that's probably the bigger, yeah. So that's where you run into that problem.
I never thought about that. Okay. Any other question? Okay. All those in favor of resolution R-147-25, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
That was 146-25.
What did you say?
You said 147.
Oh,
146.
okay. 146. Okay, thank you.
I'll get to that one.
Okay, all those in favor say
Next
aye.
up.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Okay. So next
I'll
one.
move approval of resolution R-147-25, amending the 2025 TID closure excess increment fund budget for the Swan Creek tennis courts.
Second.
Parks Commission's approved.
Finance approved.
Oh, sorry.
So, okay.
We're using excess TID to repair the Swan Creek tennis courts. We discussed it, Parks, and I believe we feel like we should restore the two courts and then dual line them with, for tennis and pickleball, even though the net is higher for the pickleball. We feel that is a good way to go on this. Some people ask, should we do it the same way as we're doing the park, up in Seminole Hills? And the folks here in this neighborhood, they're not that far to get down to McGaw Park, where there are lots of pickleball courts. So we felt this was we think this is the best option, but that can still be debated. I guess it's not set in concrete at this point.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Adam, do you want to add anything else to this?
The only thing to add is this is a 2/3 vote on this item, and we're also adding $50,000. So this was budgeted for the 2026 budget at $250,000. As part of this amendment, we did an additional $50,000. The purpose of that is based upon the recent bids at Chicory. We need some additional funds potentially for that. The goal here is to design this winter and then bid it this winter and hopefully get better bids and prices on this.
Any questions, comment? Okay, so this is required 2/3 of the vote, so I will ask for roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Latase.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Alder Bafadari.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay. Are you going to move so the police is coming?
Can you just,
I think we should just keep going. But we have all the committees report. No. Yeah, I can move it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so next, where we are, sorry. Library board, please. Any report?
Help if I have my microphone on. We meet next on September 17th.
Thank you. Commission on Energy Well.
Yes, the only things I would like to update folks on is that the commission is continuing its outreach plan and its work, and the small working group that has assembled to increase outreach for the senior center. And again, as Administrator Brecklin spoke about in his report, the National Senior Center Month celebration on Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Music by the Red Hot Corn Dogs, and there also will be beverages and brats there for consumption. So, and that'll be all for the senior center.
Thank you. Resource Conservation Commission.
Yes, we met last night. We reviewed the solid waste calendar for 2026. It's largely the same. There will be 14 brush collections, March 30th through November 16th, 5 yard waste, one in April, May, and then September, October, and November. We discussed our first Green Thursdays meeting, which will be the first Thursday of every other month, starting in November. So it'll be on November 6th at the library. We're going to be watching the film 11th Hour, 2007 documentary, with a follow-up discussion. Still in the works with cross-commission bike rides or walks, possibly a fall colors tour or something along those lines. We discussed our Fitchburg Star article schedule, so everybody should be aware, but each month in the Fitchburg Star, the RCC has a sustainability-related article that we publish. Another reminder about this Saturday's electronics recycling and shredding event. And staff has completed their 2026 DNR Responsible Unit Recycling Grant application, so we'll wait to hear back on that. If you ever go to the recycling drop-off and you wish you could get rid of your plastic shopping bags, well, we're getting a new dumpster and some new signage, and we will be allowed to do that. And that should happen sometime this month yet. One interesting thing, staff is continuing to work on GIS systems to develop and implement a work order system and a street sweeping tracker application. So any city employee who's out and about and notices something that needs fixing, they can pull out the app, drop a pin, and create a work order from that.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the street sweeping application would be basically a way to kind of monitor where the bulk of the sweepings are coming from and potentially alter the routes and schedules so that we get the highest priority areas cleaned up more often. And staff has identified several locations. We want to televise our stormwater system, sewer system. Anything that's over 50 years old, we'd like to get some televising done so we can see what condition it's in. So we've got, our youth government sort of programs happening here, and we've kind of got the reverse. Staff did a presentation to a group of middle schoolers on stormwater basics and the purpose of stormwater best management practices. That's it for RCC, except we have a resolution.
Yeah.
I'm going to move approval of resolution R13025, acceptance of organics management grant award, and approval of contract with Dane County Waste and Renewables.
Second.
RCC approved.
Did the Board of Public Works approve?
Yes.
And Finance approved.
Okay, thank you. What is this?
Yeah, we've got an $1,100 grant from Dane County to implement organics food scrap collection. And we're going to, let me grab my.
And we need to come up with the rest of the money.
Yeah. So there's a, the contract is $6,700 approximately, and there's a budget amendment to redirect $1,668 previously approved for Fitchburg Star advertising, and the remaining, $4,000-ish is going to come from the outreach and education budget with our waste collection budget. So that we need a 2/3 vote for the 1,668 that's coming from the Fitchburg Star advertising. So what this is going to be is a contract with Dane County Waste and Renewables to provide a food scrap collection drop-off kiosk in Fitchburg. We're going to initially site it at the recycling drop-off area. And this will be 52 weeks of collection. So if you can take your food scraps along with your cardboard recycling, and you can drop the food scraps off, and then Dane County will come by and collect that, and they will give us statistics on how the weight of scraps collected and that sort of thing.
Okay. How big is the container?
I believe it's going to be 4 carts that are each the 60-gallon or 65-gallon.
Yeah, I think it's like the large container.
Ben, is that? I see Ben.
They're locked also, Bill.
Yes, they are locked. So you need
They're also locked.
You need to sign up for this, and then you'll get the code to unlock them. We just want to prevent, people from dumping anything and everything in there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Can I ask a Captain Obvious question potentially? Is the intent here to help people compost? Why is
it's
this
not
good for our
necessarily
community?
it's composting in kind of a larger sense. Like if people wanted to compost, they wouldn't be using this. But if they don't have the option of composting and they would rather not throw their food scraps into the landfill, they have this option, and then this stuff will get carted off and sent to a farm somewhere to be composted and or fed to livestock.
Okay, it's composting for people who care about that but might not have the space to have a compost, say, in their backyard or something of that nature.
Right.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
half of our population lives in multifamily,
Yeah.
so there's very little opportunity.
I think that's super important to call out. I just wanted to confirm that was kind of the benefit and the value out of this.
Yes.
But I have a question, okay? Because I don't do compost, but if I have to, collect my compost so that I can take it to the recycle site, I need to have another container at my home where I can drop the stuff because I am not going to go to the recycle every day. So I don't understand this in, I want to understand how this works because I get it, I get why we're doing this, but I don't understand how practical it is.
Yes. Yes. Ben, can you tell us when we sign up for this, is there a fee, and do we get a compost bucket to take home with us? I know the county is doing that in other municipalities.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
So there wouldn't be a compost bucket provided. Basically, I think what's common is people throw their stuff in a paper bag. I believe you can throw the whole paper bag in the compost bin, or just, I guess the container is kind of up to the individual, what they want to use. And if, there are questions, I do have some statistics I can share. This is a relatively new program through Dane County Waste and Renewables. It was just launched a couple months ago. There's a few communities that are doing it, Madison, Middleton, Verona, McFarland. And I guess I'll just let you know, so far they've got I don't have data from August yet, but by the end of July, they had about 1,400 registrants. The first month they did it, between all the sites, they collected about 2.3 tons of food scraps. And then in July, they collected about 5.3 tons. So it's been growing the first 2 months. Not a ton of data or trends you can necessarily share with just 2 months, but people have been using it so far. It's again, the goal is to reduce the amount of material going to the Dane County landfill. I'm happy to answer any other questions that come up.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. First, Dave, and second, Joe. And then Micah.
So, as you've heard before, I'm a very avid composter. Done it for many years. The city, every year in the spring, a semi used to come, and at City Hall, you could go buy compost bins for a very reasonable price, and the county might have subsidized that. That ended. Every year, they'd be sold out within a short time of the semi coming. Hardly, people, and then it stopped. If that had still been going on, we'd be composting far more than the amount you're talking. Second, it's not sustainable to have people taking their stuff there, and then the county picking it up, taking it somewhere else to the farmer. That doesn't make sense. The most sustainable is it composted where it's generated. Now, in the apartments, you're right, they'd have to set something up. I would tell you, apartments, most of it, people use the garbage disposal, so it doesn't, it doesn't go in the landfill, and that's what most people do. And my wife would prefer that I do that. I just won't let her. But it's not sustainable. That option. If you want to do a pilot, what I would suggest is put these in new fountains. It's a big apartment complex.
Yeah.
Put it there and see how it works out. That would be. And the second thing I'd suggest, get us the hell out of this. Maybe we supply the bins, but let's talk to Purple Cow Organics. They're the big composters, and if the county gives us a grant for $1,600, all right, you guys come and pick them up, and haul it away. I just want us out of this, except providing bins. That's the only sustainable way is to compost it where it's generated. That's all.
Thank you, Dave. Joe, and then Mike.
So my question would be for Ben. Before that, I'm going to say a lot. So just, I compost, done it probably like 12 years, but I know that when you're composting, I put a little bin under my sink. And as soon as the weather gets warm, you got to take that thing out every 2 days, or else flies are going to start to gather. So I'm wondering, with the folks that have piloted, maybe you're drawing people that are already aware and educated on this, but how does one educate the uninitiated? Has that education occurred? Are there pamphlets? Is there a QR code to a video that shows you how to do this correctly? Because I would just worry about people seeing the results and the challenges of it and maybe not knowing what to do or giving up.
Okay.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't want someone getting frustrated and stopping just due to maybe a simple change they could have made. But Dane County does provide some educational and promotional material for this program. So there would be some kind of poster around the location of the kiosks that not only discusses what you can put in it and what items are banned, but I think we could also add some information about tips and tricks to avoid some of those less pleasant components of composting or having food scraps around your house, because certainly I could see people getting frustrated or not happy with how it's going and just kind of giving up on it.
Okay, Micah, and then I have a couple of questions myself.
So
first me.
Okay,
Mike.
We also compost. The one thing I will say, just as a option that's out there, we have a little metal container. It has a charcoal filter on top. That works really well. So that's an option. There's a cost to that, but that's an option for people who want to, who need to store something for longer than a couple of days in their house. I voted against this when it was the 3-month program at the farmers market that Sustain Dane was running. I thought it was too expensive. What I had hoped would happen was exactly what is coming back right now, which is the Dane County program. So I really appreciate, Ben, you sticking with this and coming back with this, because I think this is, we had talked about that being a pilot, and I think this is a great and better option as a pilot. It's a year long, it's less money than the Sustained Aid program was. We can move the bins, which I think is great, because the one thing I don't like about this is them being at the recycling drop-off center. I think that's a terrible location.
Yes,
it's
agreed.
nowhere near any apartments. It's near a bunch of single-family homes. It's near a ton of people who can just compost at their house. And so I would love to see that moved. I know that there's issues with that. A truck has to, the Dane County has to get a truck in to pick up the bins, and so like there are space limitations there. But I am very confident that we can find a location that might work better. So maybe we can try the recycling drop-off. I understand that that's going to be the initial location. I think that's fine for a while. But if we have the option to move it, I think we should really look at other options that might work better for, especially the apartments that might want to use this. So that's all.
Okay. So I will agree with the location, and I will agree with Dave that maybe we need to find a place where there are more apartments. I think we need to look at that. I am totally against that we put this, container in the recycle site. And then my other question is how we are going to do the outreach to our residents about this program. Who is going to do it? Is the city going to do it, or is Dane County? And how we are going to tell the people, hey, this is a new program in the city, So what is the plan?
Yeah, so luckily Dane County will help us a little bit. Certainly we wouldn't rely on just their outreach. So, we'd be looking at kind of going through our typical channels, getting information in the Fitchburg Star regarding this new program. There's still plenty of dollars available allocated to the Fitchburg Star for ads or even articles about this new program. And then we would do little posters around City Hall in the vestibule for a little while, just until people kind of understand it's out there, as well as social media posts, adding this information into the green newsletters that come out. So those would kind of be the primary. If I didn't say social media, then social media posts as well. But those would generally be the primary channels to communicate this new program to the public.
Okay, I want to recommend other channels, like if we are going to, the location will be in a multi-family area, we should also talk to the lease management company so they can distribute some flyers. I think that one is going to be more like a grassroots outreach. Putting signs here in flyer in the city hall, I don't think that is, we can put one, but it's not going to be the best approach for the target audience. So I think we need to, look at other channels of how we can do the outreach. Okay, so who is next?
I just have a quick addition to what you were saying. I agree wholeheartedly on working with the leasing office. And I will just state, I don't even want the first bin set at the recycling facility. I think it's crazy to think that I'm not going to drive my compost over there. I can barely tolerate it in my house when it fills up. And I love the idea. Thank you, Ben, for sticking with this, because it's such a good initiative and such a good striving point. I think Alder Herbst is 100% correct. Like, it should be at new fountains. It should be at great facilities where people can all access on foot super easily. So I would just say I don't even want it placed at the recycle facility to start.
Okay, good point. Okay.
I will try not to belabor the point that many of my colleagues have made, but I will a little bit. Somebody who's compost curious, who lives in a multi-family, I coined a new phrase, I guess, but lives in a multi-family community that could not, compost on site. The idea of driving 3.5 miles, even once a week, to dump this at the recycling center would be the 100% reason that I don't do this. If we could have them, one in Uptown and one in Southdale and one at the hub, those types of locations where people already are, I think that is would be a better use of our resources. And I realize the challenge from the pickup side of things that would pose. But I think the barrier that putting 4 bins at the recycling facility would pose would negate pretty much any of the benefit from this program. Plus, if I'm thinking about it from offsetting my carbon footprint, I'm then having to get my car out, which I try not to drive very often. I take the bus or bike, but I'm not going to haul my compost container on my bike 4 miles and then back 4 miles. It's just I think the practicality isn't there. But I also will say that I like the idea of finding ways to do this. I think I honestly might have supported the farmers market idea more. I think leaning into our agricultural history as a city and recognizing the importance of returning to the earth the food that we have grown from the earth is a good goal and vision. So I will echo the appreciation, Ben, for your work. But if it's going to be 4 bins at the recycling facility, I'm going to say no.
Okay, so how we would? I think, Ben, you got all the recommendation from the council about where we would like to see this site, the container located. Will this be possible, to change the location?
Yeah, so the city's able to put this location basically anywhere at our choosing. I guess the one caveat to that is we do need to have all 4 of the carts at the same location, at least for now, just so, I think it would just cost a little more, I think, if they had to drive to 4 different sites. So at least for now, they would have to be all at one location, and then you could move them all to another location. Love the idea of actually working with one of our larger apartment complexes in the city, like the Fountains. Certainly, I'll reach out to them and some of the other larger multifamily housing areas or developments and see if they would have interest. That hasn't been done yet in any of the other communities, so I think that'd be a very interesting thing to try and see if there's movement there, but certainly discussion of the location. There was quite a bit of discussion of the location at RCC meetings, and the hub was identified as potentially being a great location just with the number of apartment buildings within walking distance to that location. Really, the trick is finding some municipally owned land. A park it's typically done at parks where you can set bins and have a truck access them. So your McKee Farms Park and your McGaw Park, great locations from an access point, but again, not probably as close to some of the multifamily apartments that you would like. But certainly we'll reach out to some of these other apartment complexes and explore other locations to avoid putting it at the recycling drop-off center.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll just add to our list of potential places, Southdale Park.
Okay. Yeah.
Regarding advertising, once the final location is determined, we can put that on our solid waste calendar.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent suggestion.
Okay, so I think we are at the end of the conversation. Oh, yes, Dave.
Just one quick thing. I talked to Scott. I'm planning to work with FACTv to do a tutorial on composting at my house. And any alders would be welcome to come and help me screen it as I do it. But
Dave, I'm there.
As for information,
as someone who's compost curious.
Okay.
That's
okay.
all.
Okay, thank you. So all those in favor of resolution R-130.
It's a roll call.
Oh, it's a
Need a
two-third
roll
vote.
call.
I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. Yes, roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr. Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herps.
Nay.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Nay.
Alder Vafadari.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, so next we are on item G, Transportation and Transit Commission.
My only report is that we meet on Thursday, and I'm very excited to see everyone after having August off.
Okay. You're very enthusiastic about TTC. Okay. H, Community and Economic Development Authority.
I will take that. Give me 1 second while I scroll down. All right. I would like to introduce, Resolution R-13925, approving a contract between the City of Fitchburg and Sustained Dane for Phase 2, Project 3 of the Efficiency Navigator Program for window replacement.
Second.
Okay.
Board of Public Works approved.
CETA,
Seat approved.
Finance Committee?
Finance approved.
Okay, thank you. What is this, Joe?
So I'm going to pass it off to Joyce
Okay,
to talk
thank
a little
you.
bit more about the ordinance, or the resolution, pardon.
So I'm here tonight to bring forth a new request as part of our Efficiency Navigator program. If you recall, we've been working on this since 2024. This request is for replacement of 162 windows in 8 different properties throughout the city. These windows were identified through the assessment process as ones that could be in need of replacement, but this was not included, and I'm going to clarify that, in the initial assessment, which I misunderstood that when the assessment was done, we would have a quote for that, and that was not correct. The Efficiency Navigator program typically does not address windows. However, the city of Fitchburg, we realized through our housing plan that updating our multifamily older units are naturally occurring affordable housing was a priority that was set by not only the housing plan, but the Housing Advisory Committee and CETA. And so at the time when Sustained Dane did their assessments, they cataloged the properties that needed the windows replaced and came back to staff and said, in order to do the windows, we're going to need more funding. And we had allocated $100,000 in the 2025 budget to do additional work. However, as you can see, the windows came in significantly more than what we had allocated. So we were presented with 3 options. The first option was to just replace the windows in the front of the buildings. The second option was to just replace the windows in one building, or the third option was to request additional funding from you to complete all the windows. The dollars for this project's coming out of our Affordable Housing Fund, which the dollars were allocated for this specific use. So I'm asking that you approve this request.
Any questions, comment? Laura, and then...
I guess I'll make a couple very quick comments or questions. The first comment, I think, Joyce, the approach of not only doing like some windows in each unit makes the most sense, even though, it costs more. I think of, if you only do half the windows, there's still half of the windows left that could have that egress, or so you're not having that you're not getting the maximum benefit. So I think this would be the right approach. And certainly, after we toured and, you kind of pointed out the needs, it's clear to see the need that's out there. One thing I did want to just clarify, and I'm hoping you can speak to, is this is the properties that are benefiting from this. This is not some of the larger landlords that are, kind of the corporate landlords, if you will. This is kind of more mom and pop folks who own smaller units. So I just think of, from the standpoint of, we're not subsidizing some of the folks that are creating some of the less affordable housing in the city from that standpoint.
Sure. Let me just clarify the program in general. So when we did our outreach, we targeted 16 units or less. And in order to qualify, it had to be a direct benefit to the resident. So it's the resident who is paying the utilities, and they have to be at 80% of Dane County AMI or less. So it's a direct benefit going to those missing middle people that we discussed earlier.
Any other, Nicole.
Yeah, I also just wanted to make a quick comment that I don't know if anybody here has looked at window quotes, but they're staggeringly expensive. And just wanted to reassure, it hit me the same way when we would buy new doors for the school district, like the whole entryway, it's like $100K to put one of those bad boys in. So just wanted to reiterate for anyone, especially anyone in the public, I know we quoted windows for our home, and this is a very reasonable price for good windows that will help people with efficiency and warmth, which is especially important. So just wanted to reiterate the good work that Joyce and team have done, that this is fiscally responsible.
Any other comments? Oh, Dave, yes, go
I
ahead.
had one. Just a comment, we asked Joyce to get some before and after pictures that we could show council or put on the city website or something, that, I think, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and we're making a commitment to keeping our, our housing stock in good shape. That's all.
Thank you. I have a question, Joyce. Who selected the recipient of the windows? Did you or Sustain Day?
I didn't. I'm not an expert in determining. It was based on the most, which properties had the most need, who would have the biggest benefit from. And I think it's really important to not only to mention this to you, but also to anybody that's listening. The TID dollars are funding this. So these dollars are not coming from the general fund. We capitalized the TID district an additional year, so that means the taxing jurisdictions that, I'm sorry I'm bothering you, Chad, I know you know this. All the 5 taxing jurisdictions all play a part in this. So we're getting not only dollars from Fitchburg, but we're getting it from the state, the county, the local government, and the school district. So I think that's an important aspect of why this is really beneficial for the city of Fitchburg and the residents.
Okay, Bill, and then I need to close this.
I just wanted to let everybody know, at the Finance Committee meeting, Claire from Sustain Dane told us that the energy savings is anywhere from 5 to 14% in these units. So it's significant. And then I had one question, Joyce. How much money is left that we've allocated to this sort of project after these windows are done?
So our first budget amount was $310, and this we're asking $270. But if you recall, we shared a memo with you of all the different buckets. We allocated $1 million for this program. So, and there's probably a good chance that we're going to come back and ask to look at that again, because there's a very large need out there.
So during the 2026 budget process, you will be approving the amount of money in those buckets. Okay, any other question?
Oh, one other quick thing. So the Board of Public Works had a couple questions, and I just want to address. One of them was they were curious about the buckets. I shared the memo that we had put together for the mayor. And the other question was the cost of the windows. So we're replacing 162 windows in 8 different properties. And there's a variation of about $200 from the lowest amount of per window cost was $1,251, and the highest was $1,494. But you need to keep in mind that we're not comparing apples to apples. We have different manufacturers, we have different window sizes, and we have different contractors that put in the bid. So I just want to clarify that so Dave knows I did my due diligence here at the council too.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Okay, so we need 2/3 of the vote. So roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Regsted.
Aye.
Alder Bafadari.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we move the police?
You only have 3 items left.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Okay, thank you, Joyce. So next we move to the Ag and Rural Affairs Committee.
We meet next Tuesday, the 16th at 4 p.m.
Thank you. Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission.
We met last week. The main things that we discussed were preparation for the Committee of the Whole meeting at the end of this month, an update on the MMSD 9 Springs Interceptor project. It's a very long-term project to replace the interceptor over the next few decades. We also reviewed bicycle and pedestrian crash data. One thing I learned that I did not know was that a death versus an injury is counted if the death doesn't occur immediately and it occurs over time. It's not counted as a death, it's counted as an injury. So I was looking at the data and I thought Fitchburg had no fatal bicycle accidents in the past 10 years, but we found out that one of the accidents that was counted as an injury is actually resulted in a death a year later. So just it was interesting data to review along with other data in Dane County. Just kind of a reminder to that kind of the way we set up our infrastructure really matters, and it means human life. So,
yeah. Thank you. EMS.
Our next meeting is on September 18th.
Thank you. Healthy Neighborhoods Committee.
Nothing to update at this time.
Okay. Housing Advisory Committee.
No report.
Oh, Housing Advisory. We met yesterday. We got a housing plan update, which the council will get at our committee of the whole, so I won't belabor the point. Other program updates from economic development, the Uptown Hills 24-unit affordable townhomes, they closed on the deferred loan, moving forward with that project. We're working apparently on a pilot workforce housing in a market rate building, talking about it over with Avante and looking at how we could use TIF money for that. So that's going to be coming in the near future. Excited about the potential for that. We have Bowman Plaza, which is would be the tallest building in Fitchburg if it does get built up on Fish Hatchery Road next to City on the Hill. Plans to break ground in spring 2025. JT Klein Senior Housing on Nesbitt Road. The project has changed a little bit because of some stormwater concerns and other grading concerns, but it's looking like it's going to be 100 market rate and 80 affordable senior housing units. And then we also look in the packet were included 2 RFPs from other cities in Wisconsin to solicit proposals for specific lots, and then also information from City of Madison on how they do land banking, so kind of key takeaways for them. And it was really interesting. We really want to do more land banking and potentially acquisition of property and then put out RFPs. And so Mike was talking a lot about all the opportunities for it. Obviously, people think of land acquisition and they think of just purchasing empty land, but you can also purchase, parcels with lots for redevelopment. There's also potential that, maybe we can't afford a lot, but maybe we could option a property and then do an RFP and then work with that owner to sell it to whoever we choose for the RFP. So there's a lot of options out there that might be able to leverage that money and save that money a lot of ways. And then also Mike talked about working with some nonprofits in the area as well for purchasing land. So excited about the potential because I don't believe we've ever done RFPs for housing in the city. And there's certainly a lot of opportunity for us to push forward on a certain idea that we want. One of our housing committee members was an affordable housing developer in another state. She had great feedback about what she likes to see, and the specificity of the proposal is a welcome thing for developers. They want to know what we want, so we can be specific about what we want to see, and excited about the potential for that down the line. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Landmark Preservation Commission.
All right, now I'll say no report. Sorry, Alder Gerhart.
Tree Advisory Committee.
We meet this Thursday at 4 p.m.
Okay,
so I'll
thank you.
wave at you all with your shovels and your hard hats
Oh, okay. At the same time? Oh, okay. Community and Equity, nope. Okay. And that's it. So now we move to a standing committees report. We are going to start with Finance Committee.
Yeah, just a couple of small updates and then we'll do the resolution. We had an ARPA report submitted to the Treasury Department that went by. Everything is on track for that. And then as the mayor already mentioned, the budget comes out next week, Friday. There are going to be 2 meetings. We always do it over 2 nights, budget meetings where we discuss in depth the budget in 2 different sections. It's over 2 nights because it tends to be pretty long. And if you want to ask detailed questions, when you get to a 4th-hour meeting, it gets kind of tiring. So anyway, we do it over 2 nights. This year, it's going to be September 30th and October 1st. Highly, highly recommend the council attends. It is a finance committee meeting, so the only people voting on anything in the agenda are the finance committee members, but any alder is welcome to be on the dais and ask questions just as if they were on the committee. So please encourage you to come, and at minimum, encourage you to watch it after the fact. This is the first year I'm unable to attend, and I'm so sad because they're the best meetings of the year. I love those meetings, so highly, highly recommend. And then I'll move on to the resolution. I'll move approval of Resolution R. 15325, replacement purchase of police poll cameras.
Second.
Finance approved this, and this is a replacement that was laid out in the CIP, regular replacement of our poll camera, which can move around and be used for lots of different things, for a total of around $29,000.
Okay. What is this? Oh, she said? Okay. Chief, do you want any discussion? So also we have Chief Morale and Sergeant Logan Brown. So do you want to add anything to this?
Just want to add that they're up for replacement every 5 years. We have not replaced them in 11 years. So the ones we have now are 11 years old, and they are failing. For those who work at City Hall, we've been in need of them, and they've been failing. We're hoping to get some new ones for the current needs. Sergeant Brown can let you know all the different events that we use the poll cams for, if you'd like to know.
Okay.
Yeah, so many different uses. One of the things that's unique about the ones that we currently have bidded out is that they can be used in a multifaceted way, and that they're not only covert pole cameras, so if you put them on a pole, you wouldn't know they were there, but we can actually remove the shroud from them, and then they have a blinking light on top. So if we had an instance maybe at a city park where there was a lot of graffiti or something, we could make it an overt camera, turn that light on, people would know that they're being monitored, so to speak, as just kind of an active deterrent.
Okay, any comments, question? Okay.
One question.
Bill.
Are these like 360-degree cameras?
Not quite 360, but I think 270 is what they're rated for.
Any other question? Logan.
Without hopefully revealing any sensitive operational details, I'm just curious if we have any other similar cameras around the city, or if it's kind of just these 2, or what other cameras or, monitoring equipment we may be using that's similar to this?
For these purposes, these are the only cameras that we have. Mobile. The other ones are fixed.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of resolution? Where I am, sorry. 153-25, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. Personnel Committee.
Yes, hold on, get it up here. So we met on September 3rd, and there were quite a few items that we went through, mainly around like some new positions, and then also around for the senior center, a couple reclassifications for that position that Jill will now be taking, given the Parks and Recs separation. Some of that information will go before of her. And of course, the police department reorganization as well. And we have that here, which is basically the purpose of that was regarding the police organization and the creation and reclassification for key staffing positions. The proposed changes are designed to address the longstanding organizational challenges and position the department for more effective service that they have. And it's a phased implementation. And Chief has talked to us about this before. I think he met with alders individually as well before this even came to the Personnel Committee. And I will turn it over to you all if you would like to add anything extra around the reorganization.
Nothing else to add.
You should hold up.
Yeah, to discuss.
Are we not there yet?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad, y'all.
Okay, so.
I'm sorry. That come next. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything more about the reorganization to the council, maybe?
I did share an email with the Common Council that largely summarized a lot of the things that Alder Dantzler has talked about. Obviously, Chief Morales will talk a bit more about the police department initiated reorganization within that department. But we are also, obviously, through the Personnel Committee, we approved some additional reorganizational items that relate to our Parks and Forestry Management position that is now moving into Public Works and will directly report to our Public Works Director. We sought to create some operational efficiencies there by doing that and eliminate some multiple reporting issues between our parks maintenance supervisor and who they need to take direction from and prioritize their work requests with. And then we also are creating the Community Services Department that is going to be led by our existing Senior Center Director, Jill McCone, who will be reclassified at some point over the next several months to this director role. And the Community Development Program Coordinator will also be moved from the Planning and Zoning Department to the Community Services Department. There are a lot of things yet to discuss as it relates to timing and full logistics, but nearly every one of these, if not all of these, reorganizational changes were discussed and identified in the Baker-Tilly organizational study that was done in 2023. So city staff has been utilizing that report as a guideline for consideration of reorganization, and we'll continue to use that as a guide.
Okay, any questions? Okay. Okay, so where we are, you're done, Donald, with personnel?
Yes, my
Okay.
apologies, yes.
Oh, thank you. So next we move to Public and Safety and Human Services.
Now we will go back, and Dave is the chair, just acknowledging that, but he asked me to, since he was online, I'm just delivering the information for him this evening. And so I'll move approval of Resolution R-149-25, and that is approving the reorganization of the Police Department, and this was approved in Public Safety and Human Services.
Second. It was approved in Finance as well.
Okay, thank you.
And then I was just going to say, I kind of gave a little gist of like why we were doing this and kind of the background for it. So then if there was any further conversation, I would turn it over to Chief if you had anything to add.
Yes, and as you indicated, we did a whole presentation to you, the council, back in June. This has been a long, exhausting year in getting it together. It's a lot of moving parts. It required our command staff, and we lost part of our command staff this summer in doing this, and we had to move forward. But it also shows the strain on the finite resources that we have. The whole purpose of this is, like you indicated, and like the city administrator indicated, we're a growing city, and there's a lot of demand with very little money, and we're trying to do the best we can with the finite resources that we have. Doing this reorganization is going to help us operate as efficiently as possible, giving support to a patrol. That's where the civilian positions come in. We are losing 3 officer positions, but we're also getting some management level positions that are going to help in communication during the night shift, which is becoming the time that we get very busy and we have young officers. So it's going to help with communication. It's going to help with helping our young officers, and it's going to help with trying to keep them out on the street and doing less inside by helping them with the reports, by helping them with the, processing evidence and other things that we can do with civilians and working inside. And we're also going to have our social worker on a full-time basis. I can talk about her help with the team and what we've been doing with the department to reduce some of our crime numbers. That's a separate presentation.
Chief, can I ask just a clarifying question? Is this reorganization one of the contributing factors to that, the result from the referendum in 2024?
Absolutely it is. And as I indicated in our presentation, this does not mean we don't need resources. We will need, and we're the lowest staffed police department our size in the state of Wisconsin. However, we have to find a way to keep our officers out in the street and responding to those calls for service.
Thank you, Chief. And I will just follow up with the information I had discussed earlier about the city reorganization as well. That also, one of the contributing factors to that reorganization was the result of the referendum and the fact that a message was received by city staff from our community that we need to do what we are able to do with the resources that we're currently provided. So we are certainly trying to be mindful of that message and do what we can within the resources that we have. Doesn't diminish the need, but it will require us to prioritize where we are spending our city capacity and the services that we're providing.
And also, can you, Chief, can you mention about the dispatch? Because it could be question about, if we are ceasing the dispatch, department, who is, we know that Dane County is handling our calls, but can you clarify that?
Yes, we currently have 4 dispatcher positions that were already in a losing battle. And what I mean by that is we're trying to bring in limited term or temporary, part-time employees to assist. But it was an area that we could not staff properly. There is some duplication in the dispatch services as county would back us up when we didn't have anybody there. Otherwise, we would have to use officers from the street to dispatch our people from within the city. So we would often call and resort to county to dispatch for us. As we noticed that there was a duplication of services, we explored that further and discovered that they can take over our dispatch services, and we can reallocate those 4 dispatcher positions for in areas within the department where we could use them to help and support our patrol. In addition to that, many of the cities within the county of Dane use county dispatch, including the city of Madison. Fitchburg, are one of a handful of cities that still use our own dispatch services. Middleton, Sun Prairie, Monona and I think there might be one other one that currently still uses their internal dispatch services. So this is not uncommon.
Okay, so the other thing that I want to mention to the council, this is a net neutral cost, for this reorganization. So I want to say thank you, Chief, for, and also city staff that they work together to make this happen without any additional cost to the taxpayer. And also, we are going to save some money in the dispatch services because we don't need to buy new equipment or replace them. So it's going to be some saving there. Okay. So.
Also, if folks wanted more information, you should watch the Public Safety and Human Services meeting from today. The Deputy Chief gave a great description of if folks were worried about time to calls or if they're calling and the time to which the police can get to them. He outlined that the calls weren't coming directly to Fitchburg to begin with. They were going to the county, then the county would dispatch to the area. So if you wanted more information on that, please watch that towards the end of the Public Safety Human Services Committee meeting. You can get more information too.
Okay, any questions? Okay, Gabriela and then Nicole. Okay.
I fully support this. I wanted to thank you and all the people in your department that worked on this, and then all the city staff that worked on this, because I know this was a team effort across the organization, obviously in particular in the police department. But I know you've been talking about this for a while too. So thank you for making the effort to figure out how to make this work. Very impressive for the changes that you're able to make it a net neutral. Like, I'm honestly I'm really impressed by what you've accomplished here, and I do hope it helps streamline things. I know certainly it also saved money on the police services facility reconstruction with that bid. That would have come in higher if we had to put a dispatch in. So, and we would have less space for flex space for future things. So there's across the board savings here. But I also do want to acknowledge, as we mentioned just now, like, we understand that there's still staffing issues, right, and that's a need, and that this does not solve the problem. This is just something that's going to move you toward closer to your goals in terms of the positions that you need. But clearly, it's still going to be an issue. And we need that higher staff across the board, across public safety and across the city in order to fully staff. But in the interim, thank you for working this out.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to add kudos to Sarah and Deputy Lahoff during those conversations. Like, even when I would ask, like, oh, okay, so you have this person now reporting to this person, but you just added these 2 new positions. Aren't you putting more workload? And he was like, no, actually. So there was just like so much really creative staffing thought, and just wanted to reiterate Alder Gerhardt's point and everybody's point that we are so impressed with what you've been able to do creatively. And this doesn't mean it is a long-term solution to where you do not need more talented staff to fill incredibly exhausting and serving roles to the community. I was absolutely disappointed that the referendum did not pass by our community, and I hope folks, if it should come up again in the future or when we need staffing support for these really important community members, that we just make sure we're really kind of putting our votes and dollars where our thoughts and values are, because I think it's super important. So thank you for being creative with the talent and budget that you have currently.
Thank you. And I'm happy that you noticed some of the people that were involved, because this took HR. We need to know when we're reclassifying individuals or looking at other positions, we really need HR to help us out. And she's very busy. Misty had to look at the numbers. City administrator was involved. I mean, we looked at this through a number of different lenses, and it's hard to get everybody together when we're busy doing our regular job. So it was several people from within City Hall that really helped out, and kudos goes to all, not just one.
So my question, Chief, is when it's approved tonight, when you're going to start with this process?
Some of the process is going to start immediately.
Okay.
But like the civilian positions, Sarah is ready to post those immediately, and we're ready to start on it next week. Our social worker and our, I don't have my glasses with me, but our civilian supervisor, they can start effective next pay period, which is Monday.
Oh, okay.
And then the more complicated one is going to be the lieutenant process and the detective sergeant. We have to post those after we get approval from the PFC, which is next week.
So those one are going to be internal position that you're going to look for internally?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And then the dispatch services will officially be removed around mid-October.
Okay. Any other question? Logan.
I'll just make one quick comment. In addition to echoing what Alders Fafadari and Gerhardt mentioned before, when I hear folks in the community, asking, entirely reasonably, why are we asking for more officers? Why did we go to referendum? All these things. When I went on the ride along that I went on with Sergeant Clemens back in, I want to say May or June, even in a couple hours, it was apparent to see some of the needs, watching an officer get pulled off the street to go in the dispatch center, and then watching him also trying to help, triage some things from out in a squad car parked on the side of a street somewhere in District 1 or 2. So, I think I would recommend anybody who has questions, concerns, reach out. There's a form online you can fill out to go for a ride along or kind of see for yourselves, where your tax dollars go and what the needs are. Even if you spend even just an hour or two, I think it will be blatantly obvious, the needs that are still there. And I hope that this shows that we are being the best possible stewards of our resources so that if and when we have to ask for more down the road, we have this example to say, this is what we've done already. We can only make so many changes before the impacts become just insurmountable.
Because with this reorganization, we are also laying off 2 people.
That's correct.
And this is a consequence of a no referendum. So, and this reorganization came from your department.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Okay. So we need 2/3 of the vote. So I will ask for a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhardt.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Alder Vafadari.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we move to new business. And we have a direct referral. So I don't know who's going to do that.
Me.
Okay.
I move approval of ordinance 2025-0-22, updating the statutory reference for battery forfeiture violation by amending section 70-1 of the Fitchburg Code of Ordinances, and Public Safety and Human Services did approve. Basically,
Second.
Oh, sorry. Second. Basically, what this is changing the legislature renumbered the battery criminal statute to a different statute number. Our ordinance for writing battery forfeiture citations adopted the state statute, so we need to update our ordinance to reflect the new statute number that we are adopting. The definition of battery itself is not changing, just the statute number.
Okay, so it's more like an admin.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of ordinance?
I have many questions. I'm just kidding.
No, you don't have
I have
questions.
none.
Please. All those in favor of ordinance 2025-0-22, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So we are at the end of our action item. So now we are moving to the Alder District report. We will start with District 4.
I'll keep mine short and sweet.
Okay.
Just wanted to say happy start of school to everybody who started. And I just wanted to take a personal moment of enjoyment that my kiddo started at our local neighborhood school this year. She started at Stoner Prairie, and it is the cutest school. And it is so cool to walk to school and see so many neighbors and people in my community. I think the kids in my neighborhood find me weird because I just keep yelling at them like, have a great day, learn so much. But I just wanted to give kudos to everyone also as a Also very random, but as a former player of MUFA, with Fall League starting, just want to continue to thank the city of Fitchburg and show our pride in allowing MUFA teams to play here. When we did used to play, we were part of the parent league at McGaw, which was so great because our kids could all play together and there were lights and it's so fun. So I'm just super proud to have a community where like fun staples of life happen all the time. And then just wanted to remind everyone of the recycling event that was already brought up. And then I'm sure my fellow alder will talk about this, the District 4 listening session that's upcoming.
Okay, so Nicole mentioned last time about school starting too, and I mentioned to get my kid out of my house. My kid's now out of my house, so I'm happy about that. I love you, Lyra. So I'll be volunteering at the recycling center in the morning, so you can come see me there. And then right after that, well, right before it ends, I'll be in Quarry Hill Park at 10:30 for like a meet and greet event. So if anyone is around, they can come meet me there. And then on Thursday, September 25th, from 6 to 8 p.m. is the District 4 listening session with both of us and the mayor and representatives from the city at Black Hawk Church. So I hope to see people there. That's all I have for today.
Thank you. District 3,
Okay, I guess I'll start with the most exciting one that I actually am just repeating what I heard from the Board of Public Works meeting last night. Drum roll, please. The second, I actually get a real drum roll. Okay. The second phase of the South Saline Road construction project is nearing completion and will be substantially complete and open to the public next Friday, September 19th. So, have been very excited watching this out my window and listening to the construction all summer. We're getting so close. I will note the bad news is that we're still quite a ways behind on phase 3, which is from the fire station, Clayton Road to the north, kind of the McCoy Road intersection. That's where we kind of lost that like 7 weeks of work earlier this year with some of the, or I guess it was like the contractor issue that we had earlier. I don't know all the details off the top of my head here, but that is now looking like early November. I want to say Tim said November 3rd, and I'm seeing Dave give the affirmative. So, all right. So that's the most exciting one. And then my co-alder here, Alder Dantzler, and I have been working on trying to find opportunities to get out around the different neighborhoods and different parts of our district. We have a couple different things in the works that I'll share now. Some details still pending. We're hoping to have some kind of a meet and greet community conversation in Terra Vesa on September 18th. At around 6:30, and then also looking at one at the Limerick senior housing and workforce housing complex on October 4th at 10:30 in the morning. So we will try to be making our rounds. So I'll put out a plug if anybody's listening and wants us to drop by. Send Alder Dantzler an email and. We can, start making the rounds. Looking forward to getting out and chatting with folks and having opportunities to kind of hear neighborhood concerns that maybe don't necessarily come up in other forums.
Okay, thank you. Donna?
The only other thing is I'll just push the senior center event again on this Friday over at the senior center. Come listen to some good music and food. There'll also be, I think, beers being served too. The other thing I wanted to mention, so next week is the League of Wisconsin Municipalities Conference from September 17th through September 19th. It's going to be hosted at Baird Center in Milwaukee. And I believe I'll be attending, and the mayor is a board member, and she will be there as well. I'm not sure if you stand the whole time, but you'll be there. She's a board member. So I will be representing Fitchburg if other folks are coming. It'll be cool to have it. Other than that, I believe, and I'll be there on Saturday too for the recycling event too. So, but other than that, I think that's it for District 3.
Okay, thank you. Before,
I don't think anyone's mentioned this yet, but we're doing a groundbreaking for the police facility on Thursday.
I missed it.
So Thursday at 4 p.m. we are breaking ground for the police facility, which I'm excited about. And I keep telling people that it came in $10 million under budget, and everyone's like, what? Excuse, what? So that's been a fun thing to tell people. That's something that might never happen ever again, but this is a good one that we can ride this one for a long time. So congrats on all involved, but I'm excited about that groundbreaking. And then the Sandhill Cranes have been very active in McKee Farms Park lately. I see them almost every day right now, and I know they'll be flying away soon, and so I'm very sad to see them leave. I know we've got different little pockets of Sandhill Crane families that live all. I know there's some in Swan Creek, and there's some there. Yeah, there's so many around the town, and I think it's so cool that we live in a state that has enough nature in cities that there are birds like Sandhill cranes that will live in the cityscape. It's so, and I know sometimes we get things like turkeys that people don't like, but I mean, the fact that we get Sandhill cranes just like wandering around our neighborhoods is so cool and so special. And every time I see them, I'm just going to miss them a ton. So thanks.
Thank you, Gabriela.
Got some road repair work going on Fish Hatchery Road at Lacey and at Sherrill. So if you've ever driven through those intersections, you know it's pretty rough. That should be happening this month, and it should take a couple of weeks. Reminder that next week, Friday, 10 days from now, is the Pick Me Up at the Border ride. You can sign up. You can go to bikefitchburg.org and sign up there. Again, you don't have to go to the border. Some people will turn around at the end of the paved trail at Purcell Road, and the round trip, that'll be 10 or 12 miles, which is a good distance if you've got kids coming with you. I'll be going all the way to the border and back. I don't know if anybody else can join me, but that'd be cool.
Joking.
Are you driving? Are you picking him up at the border?
Literally with his arm.
And a reminder that Monday, September 29th through Sunday, October 5th is the week without driving. So I again challenge all of my fellow alders and mayor and city staff to try and go the full week without driving. And if you can't, just ask yourself, what would I do if I broke my right foot? There's a lot of people in our city that are too young to drive, too old to drive, disabled in some way or another, and they have to get around without a car. And so to experience it yourself can be very eye-opening. And adjacent to that, on Thursday, October 2nd, there will be a discussion inspired by the book When Driving is Not an Option by Anna Ziverts. That will be taking place. That'll be the third in a series that the MPO is co-sponsoring with municipalities. The city of Madison will have one on September 28th and Sun Prairie the 30th, and then at Terrace Point in the club room on October 2nd in 6:30 to 8 p.m. We'll be having a discussion in Fitchburg. We're still working on getting our panelists together for the Fitchburg discussion. So if you know somebody, for instance, who has aged out of driving, or if you know, particularly like a high school kid or something who would make a good panelist for, transportation-related issues, just let me know.
Can you send us the invite for that?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. D1, yeah.
Yeah, I can go. There is going to be a Allied Duns-Marsh Neighborhood Association community meal, 5:30 p.m. at Allied Park. There's also going to be a Allied Duns-Marsh Neighborhood Association meeting at 5 p.m. on Thursday, September 18th. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
Two things. One, I'd like to remind everyone, it's a little ways away, but keep the drains on the streets clear with leaves coming. It can be kind of disastrous if they get blocked. And I just had one thing. I met a developer that plans to build a little apartment in a vacant lot in the district. Met with me and we talked about it this week. So that should be, Deanna knows about it, should be coming forward here sometime in the next 6 months, I guess. That's all I had.
Thank you. Also, a reminder that the deadline for if you want to introduce an amendment to the comp plan is on September 15. Am I correct? Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I can double check.
So if you don't know what it is, reach out to me or chat.
Or Deanna.
Or Diana, okay?
Or Dan.
Oh, Dan. Okay, good Dan. Oh, I don't know.
The new associate
okay,
then.
thank you. Announcement, I want to announce that starting September 15 to October 15, this Hispanic Heritage Month, a proclamation is coming on September 23rd meeting. So I want to, as you know, we have a large Hispanic Latino population in the city of Fitchburg. I am considered myself a Latina, so I am proud to be a Latina. And I want to celebrate with all our people here because we are going through a very rough patch. And I think that we need to celebrate the diversity in our community, especially Latino community. So a proclamation is coming at the end of the month. So, okay, any other announcement? Our next common council meeting will be September 23rd. And then, Gabriela, what about the...
Yeah, the committee of the whole will be on the 24th, and we'll be talking about the housing study.
Okay.
And also the Bike and Ped Commission will be doing a presentation about the potential future study for them.
Oh, okay, okay.
And the mayor will be chairing. I will be at the airport, so I'll be online, but I'm going to be in the airport.
Okay. Oh, I can pick someone to chair that committee, that meeting. I can do that. Be prepared. Yeah.
You say so.
Yeah, I can do that, isn't it? If you want to chair the meeting, send me an email. You know what I mean? Because I chair so many meetings, so I can, share.
Alder Dantzler volunteered.
Okay. Okay, so send me an email, okay? So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Buenas noches.